welcome everybody. GM. Welcome to another episode of Wake and Jake. We're going to go over news from the week past, also some stuff to get you ready for this week. As always, shows rated NFA. Make your own financial decisions. We got some good news here. Bitcoin's on a bit of a tear. Big green week. We got some political news. We got some market news. Rate cuts seem imminent. So exciting stuff going on. Definitely more news heavy than previous weeks. So excited to pick it all apart. And of course, to help me do that here, I have my co-host, Mr. JakeandBake. Jake, how are you doing today?
Sir, doing excellent. Yeah, like you said, man, we got a lot of fun stuff to talk about. Market has notably improved over the last week or so. So we'll get into all that. Really, honestly, like across the board, which has been, it's pretty nice. We haven't seen that in quite a while, where like a lot of different sectors are pumping at the same time. And we'll get into each one of those too. But yeah, man. So far, I'm feeling pretty bullish. I'm not gonna lie. We'll get through it, but.
Well, as always, I'm here to rein you in. I'll keep expectations tapered a bit, but I won't start just yet. So I'll wait. So let's go ahead and let's start from the top here. Talk to us about macro. What's going on with Bitcoin? How's it looking out there?
Yeah. On the kind of traditional market side, a bit. There's some notable events happening. We got
fine people.
Am I muted? Jinzo, you gotta.
Oh my God! Wild Jinzo's been spotted.
Wild Jinzo appears. What's up?
You're about to get the macro report, man. You're on Wake and Jake live, so let's hear it.
Oh, I know, baby. I know. Let's hear it.
What up, Jinzo? Good to have you, man. Yeah. Anyway, let's talk about rate. There's upcoming rate cuts here in September. Pretty much priced in. If you go on Polymarket, you can actually bet on the rate cuts, which is pretty cool. Market made for Shaggy. Hopefully he's taking advantage because he's been dead on with his predictions in the past. But I'd say right now it's like a 96% chance that we're going to get a rate cut in October, according to the Polymarket prediction markets. And again, like I've mentioned this in the past, but I like using prediction markets to kind of get a sense of.
Is anybody talking or?
Yeah, Jinzo must have me muted or something.
Yes, I had you muted. I'm so sorry. Now I understand why. I was like, why is it so quiet? It starts at 12. My bad, bro. I just unmuted you. Go ahead.
This guy comes back from Greece, interrupts the show.
I swear, I was like, why is it so quiet, bro? I didn't see Jake, and then I see fucking CZ Biden's picture, and I'm like, oh my God, Jake's right there, bro.
Yeah, Mag Jinzo comes in like a wrecking ball. Oh man, I love it. I appreciate it. We're looking for engagement in the show, so I'll take what I can get, even if it is interrupting me.
I'm just happy to be on the other end of it for once.
Yeah. Where was I? Yeah, I was just talking about prediction markets, like basically betting markets. I think are a good indicator of like trying to predict future events and likelihood, because it's literally people like betting money on it. So usually it's like the sharpest people, and like lines move based on how much money is bet and how much smart money is bet on stuff. So usually it's a pretty good indicator. Obviously not perfect because it's like a percentage, obviously, but usually a pretty good indicator of future events, just because there is money getting put on it, and the more liquid the market is, meaning like the more volume coming in, usually the more accurate it is. Like if there's only like 5K bet on like a certain prop, like that's like nothing, and lines can move a ton, so it's not really super predictive. Whereas if there's like 5 million bet on a certain market, that's a lot more money coming in. That's a lot more risk involved for the book, so they're going to move the line different ways, I guess, to accommodate for that risk, and usually that means it's more predictive. So if that makes sense, just a quick primer on that. But to go back to the Polymarket stuff, it's looking like right now it's the 70% chance that it's only a 25 basis point decrease. I know a lot of people are hoping for a 50% or more, but right now it's looking like the market thinks it's going to be less. Has about a 27% chance of it being a 50 basis point move. That's just a 0.5% cut. And just for September, that is. However, like even though it is like a 70% chance of it being like the lower of the cuts, there is also a prediction market on Polymarket in regards to how many cuts there are going to be this year. And like each cut is like 25 basis points is what they assume. And there's an 84% chance we get 3 or more just for the rest of the year. With I think it's over a 50% chance of it being like 4 or more based on current betting odds. So
I got a question
even
for
though
you
even
on
though
this.
there's like one. Sorry, what was that?
Sorry, I had a question on this real quick before you wrap it up. Was prior to this week, was there a market on whether or not we would even cut this soon, or was the discussion always 50 versus 25, or did that change recently?
Yeah, there's still a market. It's actually the same, like within the same bet. I think it's like right now it's like a 4% chance of whether that we will not cut at all.
Got it. Is there a chart on that? Like, can I go pull it up and see like the moves, or is it just like real time current odds?
Yeah, you should be able to. Let me link it real quick.
That's beautiful. Yeah, thank you. Love to see this.
And yeah, like I was saying, there's been $8 million bet on this specific market, so like it's pretty liquid. Yeah, up to 74% now actually, for only 25 basis point decrease. 4% chance of a no change, like less than 0.5% that actually get raised, but that seems very unlikely. So yeah, you can check that out there. And then there's also the other one that I mentioned was how many cuts by the end of the year. And let me pull this up. As we can see here, it's about like an 84% chance based on Polymarket odds that we'll get at least 3 cuts this year. And I think it's about looks like a little bit over 50% chance of, or around 50% chance of 4 or more. So a lot of easing ahead basically, which is a good thing usually for risk on assets. People can borrow at cheaper rates. They're more willing to spend money. They don't have. It's not like as advantageous to just like park your money in a money market or a treasury. Like people are more willing to search out risk. Is essentially kind of what this is saying. Is like a bit of a layman's terms explainer. So yeah, those are good things. As far as one other thing, I guess on TradFi markets is Nvidia earnings are Wednesday. I really don't know what's going to happen with earnings. I'm not a TradFi guy at all anymore, at least. And just the notable thing here is that Nvidia is obviously a huge company now, a big run up, and probably there's going to be a good amount of volatility in the market around then. So just something to note. Maybe you could play some volatility there, or just to, I guess, be on the lookout. That's on Wednesday. But yeah, getting over to, I'll just stop there for a second before we get to broader crypto stuff.
A quick shout out from chat here. WAF's birthday on the 28th, apparently, also on Wednesday. So that's pretty cool.
Let's go.
It's also a perfect time for a Boss Dogs crossover plug shout out. Wanted to shout out Ross. He touched on the Nvidia earnings a bit on the last episode of Boss Dogs, just sort of how it can impact the market and expectations and different outcomes and stuff. So did want to at least highlight that date coming up because it is important for the market with them having so much of a share of the AI and tech and whatnot, which is holding up the whole market. So great conversation from last episode of Boss Dogs. Glad to see Ross in the chat. Happy to see that WAF's birthday is in 2 days. We can all celebrate that together. But definitely catch Boss Dogs later today at 5 because they cover some really cool market stuff, more than just Bitcoin. So pretty cool. Wanted to give them a little plug.
Yeah, thanks, dude. I'm gonna have to ask Mike if we can push our show to Monday at 9 a.m. so I can push you guys and plug Wake and Jake next time. But yeah, best way to start the morning, best way to start the week right here. So shout out to y'all.
Let's go.
Love to see it. Love Boss Dogs. Glad we have some quality content out there for the people. Hopefully you guys are getting some value here. But yeah, just getting into crypto side of things. Quick recap: Bitcoin up 8% on the week, ETH up 5%, still lagging a bit, unfortunately. 5.5%, Solana up 9.6%. Yeah, again, I reference a couple guys usually every week. They're like my two favorite, Donald and Web3 Kant, are probably my two favorite to follow in terms of macro thesis, I guess, and just macro trading, because that's not my particular strong suit. So I like to follow people who are, and Don is notably bullish for like the first time in like 6 months, and we've been chopping like crazy for 6 months. So he's been pretty on there, and it's I'd say that's pretty notable. He's bullish on both Bitcoin and ETH. And he's basically says here, I'll link one of the most recent tweets here, basically saying as long as we are staying above 58K on Bitcoin, then he'll remain bullish. But his whole thesis is like, we just had that big washout. It almost reached a pretty long time support of around like 48K area. He thought that was pretty good for the market because it was getting too frothy, and we had that washout, and now it looks we've had a really nice bounce since then, and it's looking pretty primed at the moment. We're kind of on like a local resistance right now around like 64K, so we might get a little chop here this week possibly, but for I guess on a little bit longer time frame, like we're looking pretty good. Web3 Quant also is one who's been vocally bullish since like he basically called the bottom at 50K on Twitter, and it's been up only for the most part since then. And he is still very bullish. I'll talk more about some other sectors, but memes most notably. So good to see on the Bitcoin front. I'm feeling pretty good about Bitcoin. I think we're still like, it feels like, to me, it feels still like very early in the cycle. I've talked about this in the past, but it just seems like, just from like a sentiment standpoint, like broader outside of crypto, like people are just have no clue what's going on. They just like don't care at all. And I don't think they have cared since last bull market. So I don't think we're just going to have another bull market without, the broader public getting involved like it was last time. And I just don't even think we're like there yet. We're kind of just like only at the beginning. I mean, at least just from my perspective, like I don't have like anyone in my real life that are like really into crypto at all. But last bull market, people would come up to me like very frequently and like want to have like lunch or something and pick my brain, or like ask me for like what my favorite coin was. And like I have not had like I don't think a single person has done that since we've started taking off in the last like year or so. So I still think a lot of people, actually my buddy this weekend asked me like, is like Bitcoin, like has it recovered since like that big collapse? Like he had like no clue that we're like, we already like hit a new all-time high. So
I can share same in my life as well. Just for another data point for you. Yeah, nobody has hit me up asking questions. There's a handful, about 5 that I know. Once things are heating up, I'll get those texts. So yeah, none of them have come through.
Yeah, so I'm feeling really good about that from a sentiment standpoint. That it just feels very early. I would compare it to like, I feel like 2020-ish, where like it really didn't even start to pick up until like 2021, where people started getting involved, like Top Chat stuff, and then it was like punks, and then it was like apes, and and the broader NFT market, Dogecoin from there and stuff. And it just doesn't even feel like it's even it hasn't even gotten to that kind of level yet. So I'm feeling really good about the amount of room for upside, I would say.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, quick touching on ETH stuff. Unfortunately, like the ETFs have been like dead for ETH. It's still outflows consistently every day with that grayscale, and there's really like not much of inflows, unfortunately, from ETH. I think that could change rapidly if we do see some strength coming from ETH, where we just have not seen that at all. Really yet. Maybe we had some brief strength, for the last couple of weeks, and then this past week, it once again has been underperforming. But I do think that vehicle for TradFi to be able to enter ETH is still a positive overall in the long run, and I think we'll see that play out once ETH actually starts showing a little bit of strength, and then there'll be a kind of a FOMO, in my opinion, and that's actually similar to Don's sentiment too. He is notably long ETH and ETH BTC ratio. He thinks we're kind of like a pretty long term support right here. If it's gonna bottom, like this would be the area that it would bottom at, and basically his levels of like if ETH goes above 2,800 or so, 2,900 or so, he thinks it's like gonna teleport quite a bit higher, 3,500 plus from there. So that'd be great to see if that actually played out. That's kind of just what I have on ETH right now. Still feeling basically like there's a chance. I'm not having given up, even though it seems like a lot of market has. But that's usually kind of when you want to get back in if you still believe in an asset long term.
Well said. Beautiful.
Yeah. Anything from any thoughts, questions, or whatever regarding ETH, Bitcoin, macro stuff?
I feel good, but of course we'll pause here for the audience if anybody wants to jump in and ask any questions. Now's the time.
Yeah, I was gonna say ETH just changed. It's not what it used to be. So people are kind of like, "Oh, it's dead," but it's not. There's so many. Like most chains are built on ETH. Everything's built on ETH in some way, shape, or form. It doesn't mean there's like crazy volume on it on those chains or anything, but everybody's still building on ETH. It's not like it's a dead change. It's not the same landscape we're used to, or it's not the same. Like it's just not the same what we're used to seeing from like the past cycle. It just really, really changed, I think.
Yeah, I have a similar sentiment too. I think it's yes, like there's not a high transaction volume on ETH is what there used to be, but that's also like kind of been the goal of ETH is that like it can scale through these layer twos, and I mean we're still seeing a ton of action. Like we're seeing a new layer two pop up like every single day. We just saw like Sony is launching its own layer two this past weekend. Shout out Botwin for pointing that out in his recap field report. But there's still so many different chains using ETH for its decentralization, for its security, basically as like a foundation layer. So I still think it has a chance, and I think the fact that it seems like a lot of people like have capitulated by now on ETH means that we could get like a significant rally if it does start showing some strength. Just because like a lot of people will have to FOMO buy back in because they've already capitulated.
Well, the general public's always wrong. Like look at Sol. They all thought it was dead. It was never gonna come back, and now it's like top 3, and everybody uses Sol. It's like they just don't understand what's going on sometimes. Like the whole point was Vitalik wanted to get all the meme coins off of the chain. He wanted to get like everything, all the games onto layer 2s. Like he really was pushing for layer 2s and for like building blocks to build on top of ETH. He wanted it to get like less congested. So this is all kind of part of the plan. Now we're just going to see what it becomes as we get more people back into crypto. But I mean, Vitalik is happy with what's going on because that's what he wanted. He wanted, like, it was just a mess last year with all the meme coins and all the gas going crazy. Like it just made ETH so inefficient, but this is going to alleviate a lot of that pressure. So I think it's just everything's going as planned, and just people are maybe a little bit too ignorant to realize that.
Yeah, I think it's a good shout. It's an infrastructure play, right? It's not a shitcoin that's gonna get pumped by bull posting. Funny enough, I just posted a tweet here from Vitalik from last week. He's bull posting for Ethereum. But more funny than that, though, if you click into the tweet and peep like the comment under, like his reply under, the tweet before this, he had posted an 11,700 word blog post about philosophy of blockchain, and he screenshotted the metrics. His bull post beat it on all metrics in 3 minutes. So it's like people just want the bull posts, right? They want something to the memes to like and share and retweet, but man drops absolute knowledge and no one is checking for it or clicking it. I thought that was pretty amusing. But from the man himself, though.
Yeah, he was always also the one to, ironically, actually, he was the one to wake people up on Sol again. Sol had bottomed because Vitalik said, I can't believe everybody thinks this chain's dead. The tech's good. And it keeps dropping. It's not like they're just going to abandon the chain because the coin's doing bad. And from that point, like it wasn't those exact words, but from that point, Sol just started going crazy from the $6 to $8 range up. Like even that's like a competitor chain. He was the first to say, I can't believe everybody's like blind to the fact that Sol's not just going to die, you know? It's actually really good tech.
I wanted to chime in as well because I remember last week or 2 weeks ago, Top Hat, you were noting that, we sort of haven't seen that prevalence of ETH NFTs, and a lot of the narrative has just kind of been like, why would I buy this? And I think a lot of that thesis is still intact, but I think it just, it's a matter of blockchain still developing, right? Like there's so many big businesses that can actually use blockchain, especially once AI makes going through huge data sets much faster. There's going to be a lot of value for storing data on chain where it's very visible and transparent. So just the fact that there's these ETH ETFs that exist, we've never been at the beginning of an ETF before, right? But the whole nature of an ETF is just slowly over time, money trickles into them, and that's going to go into ETH. So just the same feeling in 2021 where we're early. I feel like we really haven't given enough time yet for those ETH ETF flows to hit. And I do think it's just a matter of time until it builds. It's just not going to be that immediate price action of everyone's using this network to buy NFTs. Because like at this point, I think there's chains that are better suited for that. So I do think it's just a matter of like ETH finding its main use case and then people going ham with that. But I do think just with the ETF, it's solidified as going to have its moment.
Yeah, well said. Fair enough. Nobody knows.
Yeah. Onto a sector that has been outperforming this entire run that we've had so far. On the meme section, we once again, when we got a significant bounce, and on Bitcoin, we saw a lot of the top memes, outperform by a good amount. It seems people still have quite an appetite for memes this cycle. I think that's only going to continue, especially once retail gets more involved. I think that's kind of a natural attraction for a lot of them. We saw it, already play out in 2021 with Dogecoin and SHIB and Safe Moon and all that stuff. And I think it's going to be something that they go right back to as well. And we're seeing obviously crypto natives love it too. So just a quick recap on where we're looking there. Some notable ones: PopCat among the bigger ones, up 87% on the week, really popping. Whiff up 33%. Then the big, the big runner probably in the mid range is Flog, up 370% on the week to around 60 million or so. Kind of the people are comparing, we have a frog coin on ETH, so why not have a frog coin on Sol? And that's kind of what it's looking like. That it's becoming a bit of a chosen one. And then we're also seeing Tron stuff continue to play out. We obviously mentioned Tron coins last week a good amount, and over the weekend, last weekend at least, or I guess 2 weekends ago, however you would frame it. And they're still showing strength a little bit, to my surprise. I thought it'd be people would have moved on a bit from now, but it seems like Justin Sun is pushing them pretty hard, and that's working. They're getting a lot of attention. Sundog is the most notable one there. It's been the leader, and it's up 185% over the week. I think it's around 300 million or so. As we're recording this, as long as some other big ones. There was one Bull Coin or whatever that went over 100 million. I think that one was pretty cabal pushed. But regardless, I think it's evident that, it's kind of like the thesis that we thought we were talking about beginning, that look like this is how these chains are attracting users right now and flow is through memes, because that's the hot thing. You know, I think we saw a little bit of it with base and like the Miggles stuff when they were kind of like making memes for that Miggles cat. And now that, you know, Tron had its own pump fund, it's really been pushing memes on Tron, and it's working for them really. Like TRX, Tron's coin is up like 20% on the week. It's been around after being up, showing a lot of strength the week before when everything was down. And its active users are up a lot. The Tron's revenue is up quite a bit as well on the chain. So it just makes sense. Like there's a huge incentive for these different chains right now, is while memes are hot, to continue to push them on their native chain. And I think there's probably a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes to make sure these memes continue to pump, or at least stay strong in the market. You know, that's usually like a short-lived kind of thing. You know, you can't just continue to pump something endlessly. Eventually, you know, it crashes down. But if you can kind of find these opportunities early on and ride the wave a bit, I think that's you know, there's a good I guess opportunity there. And I'm glad we were able to kind of find that with Tron. I'm still not really sure what to think. I feel it feels a bit toppy to me, at least on the Tron stuff. I'm not super interested in getting back involved over there, because I think it's more of a flavor of the week until like something else pops up. So I'm not looking to get really super involved over there, but interested to hear other people's takes, you know, on memes, on Tron stuff in particular, and kind of where their perspective is on where we're looking from the meme front.
I appreciate your perspective there. Happy to hear from anybody else. Anybody has thoughts?
In regards to memes, I think it's just like it has the most staying power we've ever seen. Like I think it's going to keep getting popular, the whole meme sector, just because it's something anybody can relate to, right? You come into crypto, you don't really know what's going on. A lot of people are lazy; they don't want to dig into all these different like technologies and stuff. So hey, this fucking coin's fun. It's funny. I can relate to that. Let me buy some of that. Everybody's laughing on this, so I think it's like an easy entry for a lot of people. And I think also, even when you talk about the old school crypto guys and even us or whatever, like we like memes for the reason that it has pumpability, right? I mean, it's like a get rich quick thing. If you get into the right one, you can make money. A lot of people are attracted by that, right? They want the shiny new thing that can make you rich off of very little entry. And it's and also it plays a lot on the gambling side. So it just has all the right and wrong reasons to succeed. And I think it's going to keep going because it's just so easy. It's an easy entry for people. And if you notice, a lot of the real tech is not going anywhere. It's not moving. A lot of the good coins they're supposedly really pumping. They're moving maybe a few percent a year. Like they haven't done much. But memes, man, you'll go 300-400%, a few 1,000% sometimes. It just, you know what I mean? It's never ending. I think it's going to be here for a while. It's just because it's so easy to relatable. And on the Tron stuff, yeah, I got to agree with you there. I mean, every cycle so far, Tron has found a way to like become relevant for a short period of time. So 2 cycles ago, it was a big thing. Tron, a lot of people were making money on it. Like even Johnny Satoshi, he introduced me to Tron. He told me that it's a nice place to make money. A lot of the Asian people were in on it too. Like the Asian sector was big on Tron, and there was a lot of money to be made there because, yeah, it was just so easy to use and very cheap to transact, and people like loved that chain. The thing is, it would never really stay in the spotlight for very long. Same thing happened last cycle. A few of us that knew about it from the cycle before were using it, and it was cool. We were making some money, but it never really pierced through into the spotlight like it did right now. Actually, I think out of the 3 cycles, this is probably the time I saw it jump into the spotlight the most. And again, I don't think it's gonna last, but I think there might be opportunity there if you pay attention. I think if Tron had made a move for Sol, it might have had an opportunity to stay in the spotlight. But like the big thing with Tron was that it was cheap to transact and it was quick. Like it was the fastest thing. But now we have Sol for that. We have other chains, so I don't see why it would stay relevant. Everybody's just so used to using other things. Like I don't think it's going to leech enough of the market share for it to stay relevant for long. But again, that's just how I see it. It's a chain like any other. People use chains, but I do think it's the flavor of the month also.
Yeah, I like that take a lot. Meg has a take as well. She thinks Tron's gonna stay here for a bit. Chinese retail like it. Justin Sun, main character right now. I think those are really good points too. I certainly think Tron can last for a bit longer. I'm just I get like wary when things pump a lot. Like I just have like a natural reaction to be like, okay, I don't really want to get involved after something's pumped a ton. Um, you kind of got to change that a bit sometimes. If we are like in an actual bull, like that kind of mentality can make you sell early, but when we're still chopping, usually that's kind of the best way to trade things is not get super involved after stuff pumps a lot. But in regards to like ecosystems, I think you can track metrics and that'll give you a better idea. Like, for instance, Lizard Capital shared this dashboard here. I'm going to link it in voice hangout chat, but this is like showing SunSwap, which is like the main Tron DEX that everyone uses for their meme coins. It just shows daily active addresses. So you can kind of get an idea of how many people are actually using the chain and see what the trend is there. Right now, it's, we hit a top about 5 days ago. Then it fell down a little bit, and then it's kind of trending back up a little bit more. So maybe we continue to go from here. Something to just monitor. You could also check out like volume traded on like Dex Screener or something on big coins and seeing if that's sustained or if it's trending lower. That's usually a sign that people are moving back to different chains and chasing different narratives from there. I think right now it's still the main thing for the most part for memes, but Soul stuff is starting to pick back up again, and there could be something new that pops up like at any day, that takes away mind share. So I would just be mindful of that right now. But yeah, I don't think at the moment it's like the worst thing if you're chasing like Tron memes. I would just be cautious, is what I would say.
Yeah, like everybody's always thinking, oh, what's going to be the first $1 billion coin on this chain, right? And a lot of people are trying to find that one. But like if you look at Blast, a lot of people that were looking for their first $1 billion coin or got fucking wrecked. Like, I mean, it never really happened. We didn't get anything that had staying power, and Blast had all the attention. So I would just caution a little bit. I don't say it's not gonna happen. I'm just like, I'd be careful. I would still play pumps on Tron because it's easy and because whatever, throw $500 and see if you can build that into a few thousand, whatever. Like I'm doing it. I'm trying. I'm being careful, but I'm trying. Just I don't know if it's gonna go. I don't know if it's gonna go crazy like the Soul ecosystem or like anything else that's bigger than it.
Yes, sir. But yeah, just in general, I think a lot of opportunity right now in memes, and I think they'll continue to lead their way if you can kind of pick the main runners, which there seem to have been several that have established them so far. I would say like with Pepe, PopCat, those kind of the ones who consistently are bouncing the most when we do have a bounce. Have shown it like the most strength and usually are the best bets from like a more longer term cycle play.
Appreciate all the perspectives, though. Everybody sharing their thoughts this morning. Love the conversation.
Love it. Yeah, we can move on to another fun topic. Hasn't been fun in quite a while, but it's starting to be a little bit. NFTs. We mentioned last week that we were getting a bit of a bounce on NFTs from the bottom. They're showing some strength, and it has continued again this week. So that's really good to see a trend starting to form. Maybe we hit our local bottom in the NFTs. Bored Apes up 14% on the week. Punks notably up about 22%. It's looking like on the week. Pudgy's up 17%. Azuki's up 7%. Doodle's up 9%. DGod's up 11%. So across the board, some of these notable PFP, at least on ETH, I haven't been tracking the Bitcoin ones, but at least on ETH, they've been continuing their trend up. So that's good to see. I think it might be kind of a combination of stuff. In my opinion, it's one, like the market's getting a little bit better. There's more bullish sentiment. across the board from a macro perspective. That leads to more risk on. Two, it's like people are, I think, getting a bit tired of like the pump fund stuff, like gambling on new stuff, at least new coins. I think that's always going to continue, but if you mentioned like you see pump fund like mentioned on the timeline, there's a lot of negativity in the replies. And then, so I think people kind of like miss the old days of just like gambling on PFPs and reveals and stuff. And they're kind of sticking to some of the more notable, players who've been building throughout the bear. And then, just I think in general, like they've dumped so much that, maybe we can actually see a bit of a relief. But very curious to hear other people's takes on what we're looking at with NFTs. Has anyone, this is a better question, has anyone bought an NFT within the past week or two?
I've sold some. Does that count?
I haven't, but I've been looking at the action. I'm looking at my chops. I hope it keeps going. I mean, I agree with everything you said. I just felt like it was time for Boot to start coming back. I don't know if it's gonna last. I hope it does. Like, I mean, we've seen these little pumps in the past, in the last few months or whatever. But I feel like slowly we might keep boiling up, and maybe we'll pump eventually. I saw it on Bitcoin too. It looks like I think the puppets are back to over 0.1, and Node monkeys are back at 0.15. Quantum cats are almost at 0.3. I mean, things are moving. So I feel like that's what's happening. People are getting fatigued from like some coins that they got wrecked on, and maybe they're coming back, or maybe it's also regular people just coming back and looking for opportunities in what they knew from last cycle, which was NFTs. So I think it might be a mix of those two things, but I don't know. There's still, I'm still being cautiously optimistic. I'm just gonna keep waiting and seeing before I make any moves on NFTs. Like, I still have a big bag, so if anything, I'll do like TopHat and start unloading some.
AI seems to agree. So sell into the pumps. Yeah, I think like I don't think we're probably gonna reach previous cycle highs on these big PFP collections. I still think like NFTs will have their chance to shine, but it'll likely be the best opportunities on new stuff or stuff that like launched in the bear where they never really had a chance to appreciate like crazy, but they've just been kind of building for a while now, and have formed a community around them. So I think stuff like that is probably going to be the best bet when NFTs, really pick up again, which I think they will eventually. But yeah, for now, it's good to see a trend starting a bit. We'll see if it continues. Let's say for another question for the crowd here, if you were gonna bet on like a specific type of NFT, what do you guys think would perform the best in the coming months or so? Like a PFP or like a game, or like a membership or collectible, or maybe something else. X is NFT with coins like a 404, which means that you can also trade it as like a shit coin. It's like fractionalized NFTs in a way. I like that take.
There's a lot of talk on Boss Dogs about like fractals, like pre-fractals, almost sound like pre-runes, but like NFTs or ordinals that come with a token. Yeah, like kind of like Meg's saying, something that's going to come with something.
I would shout out potentially on-chain Gaias. I know Mac Attack, shout out to him, posted a field report about them, I want to say like 3 to 4 months ago, but at their peak, they were about 2 ETH. I still don't think they've revealed yet, but those were sort of the premier base NFT, and they were also linked to Farcaster. So I know Farcaster is gearing up to do an airdrop. I mean, the floor is just beaten down, but I've seen whenever NFTs or crypto does get a notable pump, the floor on those does go pretty crazy. And the art on them does look awesome. I mean, it's been a while since we've gotten a new PFP, but at least in my mind, it checks the boxes of like the art looks hype as hell. Kind of reminds me of Azuki in a sense, at least from the teasers that we've seen. I think the reveal could be a non-post reveal dump, maybe a reveal that people are just delighted. I have no idea when those are releasing or like when they're publishing their art. But if we get sort of a rotation back into base chain, if we get back into NFT hype, I could see those being one to look at.
Yeah, it's a great shout. I've been hearing about on-chain Gaias for a long time now. I can't remember who exactly it was. Wrote a field report about him like months ago. And I've heard a lot of smart people mentioning them. I haven't really looked deep enough, but the part about the art is new to me. I didn't realize that it was like something that hasn't been revealed, and it's gonna look pretty cool. Is it like an anime type thing?
It's a little less anime. It's sort of like if there was a nature illustration in a book. I mean, it's like anime to an extent, right? It's graphic illustrations, but it doesn't look anime in sort of like a manga sense. Oh my god, is that what they look like? Okay, wow. The the graphics there look way worse than the previews I've seen. Here's the collection. Let me see if I can find them. They might have actually revealed as a separate collection that I was unaware of.
This one looks better, but doesn't have a face.
Huh. Yeah, these do look a little bit different. Let me see. And if anyone has any intel, if they have revealed or haven't, please chime in.
A 0.34, not bad. Sweet. Anything else on the NFT front, guys? Pocket Change said established NFT projects who haven't dropped a token yet. Yeah. That'd be like Azuki. I know Pocket Change is a big Azuki bull. Who else would it be? Pudgies.
Pudgies, yeah.
Sofa Maker, of course.
Sofa Maker.
Had to.
Yeah, probably some Wordle stuff. I don't know. I'm not tracking as much.
Street Machine.
God. R.I.P.
Sorry,
opening up all the old wounds today.
Yeah, sorry. Banned word in the chat. My bad. I'll see myself out.
Reminds me of when Llama said Rainmakers in our staff chat. I was like, oh my god, it hurts so bad.
Yeah. Brutal. Cool. Yeah. I don't have a ton else. I did want to shout out one other thing that alts are kind of pumping too, like all L1s. We haven't seen that a bit. I know we saw some Sui stuff like a week or two ago. Looks like Say has been the big winner this past week. I think it's up like 30 something percent, 35% it looks like. Over on the Say chain. Some other alts Sui's doing well too. I think like Near's doing well. A lot of these all L1s are pumping too. I just think it's notable because it's also pumping alongside memes and NFTs and majors as well. So it's like I feel like we haven't seen this in quite a long time. Oh, as well as like the traditional market, stock market as well. Hold. It seems like a lot of risk on assets like are all pumping at the same time, and that's usually in the past been a pretty good indicator of like a bull when everything is starting to rip together at once. It's kind of showing market showing its hand of wanting to take on a bit more risk, and it's not like it's not like it's just it's not like the pump is just transferring from one sector to the other. Like liquidity is not just like bouncing around, it's more so like across the board. And I thought that was at least notable because I feel like we haven't seen that in like 6 months really since we've been chopping around a lot. So again, like that's just it's only on like a lower time frame. It's only like this past week really that's been happening. But I think if that trend continues, then that's another kind of sign that we could be picking back up again.
Yeah, people are back from vacation, man. Like they're back. This quarter is always like people get back into it. They want to get back into the groove, and I feel like it's the right time for people to invest. Like, I mean, people are placing their chips, and they're expecting that the elections are coming up, and they know that's going to play a big role. I mean, I feel like people are just getting ready for what's coming, and what better time than right after vacation when everybody's sitting down on their desk again.
Yeah, for sure. This is usually when we see it. August, September, beginning of September, late August, like this kind of time. I feel like you said, people are done bit touching grass, and now we're getting back into it. We'd love to see it. Hopefully, it continues.
Grass has been touched, and it's time to lock in. Poor Ezra,
mean-
man. He's going through the same confusion as me last week with the say and the sui. It's just too much, man. It's too much. You think you hear your bags mentioned and you perk up, and it's like, oh no, it's a different thing.
Say is the one that is pumping the most, not Sui.
Oh, well then, fantastic. Then Ezra, dry those eyes.
Sui is up too, but Say's up like 33% on the week, and 36% on the week, and Sui's up like 12%.
Let's go. So glad I clarified. I already glossed over in my mind after my embarrassment last week. So that's fantastic. Let's go.
Yes, sir. So those people who've been grinding the Say stuff back in the day, like Ezrin, yeah, it's starting to look a little better over there. Maybe there'll be some Say FTs pumping too. Who knows? Those Saiyans.
Oh shit. Saiyans, Colony. Oh, it's all coming back to me. About to fire up Palette right now. See if they ever got that site working.
Yeah. I know I had some Saiyans listed for a while, but probably have some Say just chilling. Win Say shitcoin meta. Yeah, Chelsea. Good call. We need a Say pump fund and then it's on.
What you say?
Yeah, that's about all I have for topics for this week so far. THD, you had anything else on the docket?
I mean, kind of, not really. I mean, you kind of mentioned it earlier, but it's embarrassing to even want to talk about. But the Sonium stuff, again, shout out to Botwin. Love his field reports, man. The After Touch and Grass one. It's like a Web3 newspaper. Really great. But one of the sections was about Sonium, which is Sony's L2. And, you know, like on the surface, it has all of the things that are easy to make fun of. It's the same shit that we've heard before. They're trying to get this bridge Web 2 and Web 3. It's just, yeah, it seems just like out of touch and like they're late. Seems pretty weird and bizarre. I remember covering these when I was doing the weekly recaps, like 2 years ago, when they were filing the patents for this stuff. So it looks like it's finally taken shape. Maybe they just operate slower because it's a big corporation. But we've seen it a million times, and we're just numb to this stuff. Big corporations come and start some Web3 initiative, and quietly pull the plug a few months later and fire everyone, and it's like it never happened, right? So could easily see this being, the next iteration of that. But if there is a small, tiny, little sliver of hope anywhere in here, fuck, man, it would be pretty powerful. Sony with an L2 and just like their grasp of the market and control over tech would be pretty crazy. Especially, something like Grand Theft Auto, which has already alluded to potential crypto inner workings. Like, it's probably way too early to even get excited about this stuff, so I'm embarrassed to bring it up. But if ever there was one to potentially have like a little seed of hope, maybe it's Sony. But I don't know. I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. It's probably just another heartbreak and rug pull, but I can hope, right?
Yeah. I haven't like heard the name Sony in like a decade, for like anything notable. I guess PlayStation. Never mind. I forget that that's PlayStation. I'm an Xbox guy. Sorry for the hate there. But yeah, man, we'll see.
Console wars are so 2010, man. PC's got one big up on us anyway. But we'll see. Anyway, they posted a tweet, just a date. It's the 28th, which is Wednesday. So just a cryptic 12-second video of nothing, and then a date. So we'll see if they got anything interesting for us. Short time frame, but probably not.
I think like the most notable thing is it would be interesting to see if they launch a token as a publicly traded company. So we have not seen that before. On the L2 side of things. So
it'd be something, could be nothing. But hey, calling it out. But no, I don't have anything else, man. Just excited to finally see some green in the market and have some topics to cover. So feeling good.
Cool. Anything from you guys in the community that you guys want to chat through? Or else we can wrap her up.
Works for me. Final call. Anybody have any questions, thoughts, concerns, or cries? All right. Well, Ezra wants to shout out Fantasy Top Airdrop.
Oh.
Talk to us.
What about that? I hadn't even heard about that. their electronic token.
Is my microphone? Does it work?
Oh, there
yeah.
he is. GMGM.
Yeah. Not necessarily the air. Well, they're gonna have fan token, which has been something they mentioned way back at the start. As you play in the tournaments, you're gaining fantasy points, which will be your addition to your airdrop. So easily the most popular app on Blast. It just seems to be getting more and more popular. There's quite a lot of us playing it in the Fantasy Top channel, and I'm kind of loving it still. I think a lot of people in here are still enjoying it. I'm seeing more and more on Twitter and also some other Discords. There's lots of other things getting built out for it, like tooling and stuff. It seems to be really growing in popularity. So if anyone did touch it and kind of didn't dump it and still wants to keep playing, I recommend you either check and sell, because the cards are kind of getting quite pricey now as well, and there's quite a lot of game theory for all you DFSers, trying to plan what's the best move each week. Highly recommend you check it out if you've not already. There is also a channel for it in here, which I'll link. But yeah, I rate it. It's probably the most fun I've had in Web3. And they are going to be doing a token.
Yeah, good shout. I like forgot about Fantasy Top, and I checked it like a week or two ago, and I noticed that the cards had gone up quite a bit, and I sold into it. Just because I haven't really been paying attention to when the tournaments are and all that stuff, but I still think it's like a novel idea, and could do well long term. I do think the site kind of sucks. Wish they improved that a bit, but it's always felt like pretty buggy to me. And but looks like Silva says it's a rug. Oh, sarcasm.
Silva's like a main contender. He's currently sitting top 10 in the Elites League.
Oh, shit.
He's killing. He's killing. There's a few. Oh, he's fallen out. He's fallen out of top 10. Sorry. Yeah, it's like every week they run a tournament now. You can run a single line. You can run multiple lines. The rewards pretty good. Like, you can make quite a bit of money selling any cards you get. You can build up your stack each week, and you're also earning those fan points every week that you're playing as well, which will contribute to an airdrop at some point. Card prices and popularity growing as well, so anything you buy today could be worth more next week. You can there's a bunch of ways you can play it, but I would say it's pretty profitable and pretty interesting.
Yeah, now that I'm on Rainmakers, I'm playing this, bro. I have nothing else to play.
It is like Rainmakers, but for influencers a bit.
Exactly. And there is no Rainmakers, so come and get your fill.
Yeah. Yeah, good shout, man. I think on a similar note, for Blast projects, I know Blast has been like beating, and I think the consensus, it feels like on like CT that it's like dead, maybe in here too, but I mean, I haven't really used it a ton, but I mean, if Fantasy Top starts to get going, and then I still want to shout out IKB. I still think it's a great site. They're like the fantasy sports site. They're just tweeted yesterday. I think it was yesterday that they're going to actually be a sports book coming this year during the NFL season. They're going to be open to more states. Better on-ramp off-ramp for fiat, and a new and improved contest structure, which sounds like it'll be like no cap kind of thing, where you can just it'll basically just end with however many entries you get in there, and then like the prize pool just shifts based on how many entries are in there. So that could lead to bigger contests for sure, which would be pretty cool as well. So I think I'm certainly gonna be playing on IKB during the NFL stuff, just because like they don't take out any type of fee like DraftKings or FanDuel does. So if you're into fantasy sports stuff, they got props and stuff too, and it sounds like they'll have more like money line stuff too once eventually here sometime this NFL season, they're saying. So still think it's pretty cool. And you also obviously get Blast Gold. I don't really know of how much Blast Golds are going to end up being worth. And it's also going to be quite a while, it seems, till you actually get paid out for it. But just another little bonus. But I still am pretty bullish on IKB stuff. Sounds like Fantasy Stop's doing well. So there is some applications on Blast that are working out so far. Somewhat notable, I'd say.
Yeah, I think IKB is also going to have the softer competition, so I'm going to hammer it as hard as I did Rainmakers. I think I'm going to concentrate on that a lot. If they do like regular DFS stuff this year, I feel like we can make a lot on that. We could do really well with the knowledge we have in here.
On a sorry, super random note, but I'm just looking at Dex Screener and I see one of the top coins is called TopHatCat, up 30,000% today. So THC, if you need a coin.
Damn, should have got airdrop some of that. That's bullshit.
I bought some of that one, bro, and I forgot to mention it to you, THC. It's a PopCat play, but on Tron. Basically, it's like there's one Twitter that everybody follows that was talking about it, and now people are kind of tagging on and what's happened in the last hour. I haven't checked, but I mean, it's moving.
I've never had such strong imposter syndrome than right now.
So one other quick shout, if you're doing fantasy stuff, fantasy football stuff, feel free to pop into the DFS betting fantasy sports thread. We can help you out with your fantasy drafts and stuff. We have a lot of people who've been grinding drafts and news and stuff for NFL all summer and gotten like hundreds of drafts under our belts. Myself, Poop, Waff, and others. So feel free to pop in if you want any help with your fantasy drafts.
Great shout. Y'all are beasts with that. Great resource for our members.
Yes, sir. Oh, and we have MVHQ Survivor League. Don't forget to sign up for that. Free to enter.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, man, I think that's all from me. It sounds like, unless there's anything else you guys wanted to chat through, obviously we'll be here during the day. But as far as Wake and Jake goes with THC,
yeah, sounds good. We'll go ahead and cut things here. Appreciate everybody rolling through. We'll see you guys next week, same time, 12 Eastern. And then, of course, later today, we have Boss Dogs at 5 Eastern, which you're not going to want to miss either. So see y'all there.
Thanks, y'all. Appreciate the engagement today from the community. Great show.
Sir, very much appreciated. Jinzo, Ezrin, everybody in chat. Thank you, guys.